What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Jedi Network. Bronx Bombers Strike Back. Let's discuss some MLB offseason baseball here with me here with BX Sports Jedi Kev, the Don of the Watch Along. Let's talk some baseball. 20 days before spring training. Yes, 20 days before the boys of summer gets into Florida, Arizona, and of course, spring training games, and 66 days away from MLB opening day. So you guys are excited. I know right now, if you're in the northeastern part of the country of the United States, you got some snow. Here in Florida, we got a lot of rain. We got a cold front. If you're up all the way up the East Coast, you got some snow. And the last thing you have on your mind is summer. Well, the boys of summer. Well, let's warm up those spirits. Let's talk some baseball. We want you to interact with us. We want you to talk some New York Yankees, Major League Baseball, Mets. But the first one that I really want to talk about, with a lot of news has come out, I want to react. I want to hear your reaction. Is we react to a ridiculous stacked Dodger team, and I asked this question: are they terrible for baseball, and how do they keep adding more players? They added the All-Star closer Tanner Scott with a $72 million contract. Reports had it that the Red Sox had a higher AVA and more money on the table when he chose the Dodgers. Now, as a Yankee fan, I'm not going to sit here and be hypocritical or talk from the other side of my mouth and say that that's wrong with the Dodgers are doing. I know, but prior to signing Tanner Scott, they signed Hiroki Sasaki, who picked the Dodgers and did not want to come east. Coast. They didn't want to. Although the Blue Jays were mentioned to be one of the finalists, I don't think he was coming to the Dodgers. The Blue Jays. It looked like it was going to be the Padres or the Dodgers, and all I'm seeing here, and again, I don't want to sound hypocritical. I don't want to sound like I'm talking to both sides of my mouth. I'm not blaming the Los Angeles Dodgers for signing these players, for having Blake Snell, having Glasnow, having Hiroki Sasaki, Yamamoto, Clayton Kershaw, now here Hiroki Sasaki. I'm not blaming them, Tanner Scott, but I am blaming the Major League Baseball owners. Why am I blaming the Major League Baseball owners? Because you guys are being cheap. You guys are being foolish not to sign these players. Right now, reports have it that a lot of free agency, slow-moving market, other than the big top guys, it's a slow-moving market where a lot of players are frustrated. You got 20 days left to Major League Baseball spring training, where pitchers and catchers have to report. We have a lot of players still don't know where they're going to play their summer, where they're going to have to relocate their family, what city, where they have to rent, and all that different stuff. That's a lot of, I know money cures or disguises a lot of worries for these Major League ball players, but still stressful. They have to go through an off-season workout plan. They have to, focus on getting their bodies, their physically and mentally for 162 plus games. And they don't have to, and of course, that's why they have agents. But if they're not being signed financially, they have to worry about their income. So it's a lot of hand in hand going back and forth when it comes to the free agency, some pitching, some players relocating. I got Aiden in the building. Let me get Aiden, who's going to join us. Again, we want you to interact and we want you to keep the comments coming. Aiden, first and foremost, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing great. Good to see you. Yes, and big Yankee fan. Dodgers are stacked, and the Yankees still need a third baseman and a left-handed reliever, and DJ LeMahieu cannot be our third baseman opening day. You said a lot there. We're going to address that with you, Aiden. Absolutely. The Dodgers are super stacked. Now, one thing, there's an old saying, there's a I guess it's a Latin wise tale when it comes to baseball. La pelota es redonda. That means the ball is round. That means anything can happen in the game of baseball. You could find yourself a hot pitcher who could wake up that night, who's just going to have a dominant performance. Stacked teams could be beaten by lesser teams if they, it's still a team sport. If a lesser team comes together and they're inspired, they could beat anyone on any given night. And I know that's why baseball does a 7-game series, because normally the better team in a series win. But things can happen in the game of baseball. Nothing is guaranteed. Like just in life, just in death and taxes, nothing is guaranteed. But you like to stack the odds towards you with bringing a strong team. Ethan is in the chat. Let me salute him. I go right back to Mr. Aiden. Salute, Ethan. Salute to you. Hope you're doing well. Oh, great to see you. And he let us know that he went to a Northam today for football, soccer, ended in a 2-1 match. It was fun. Anyway, any match. So good job there. Hope you enjoyed the contest there, the match this afternoon. Chris is in the chat. Salute, Chris. What's going on, Chris? How are you? Hope everything is well. Happy Sunday to you guys, everyone there. Stay warm, bundled up. If you're getting some snowstorm, be careful out there driving and all that good stuff. If you're driving in Florida, be careful of the rain. A lot of rain, a lot of potential downpour as we're getting a cold front as the weather starts to change. It's going to get cold here. So let's go. And of course, we're talking about the Dodgers being stocked. Is it good for baseball? Personally, I'm going to go on record. I'm thinking that this is going to cause a lockout. In 2025, 2026, I believe there's a CBA, an opportunity there. I think baseball is heading to a really nasty, ugly lockout. And it's not because of people are going to blame the Dodgers. And they're going to say because the Dodgers get everyone, they're overspending, they're spending money. Again, I'm sitting here from a Yankee perspective, a Yankee fan perspective, seeing them just beat the Yankees in the World Series. I am not going to fault the Dodgers on bringing Naoki Sasaki, being an attractive destination for the Japanese player or any free agent like Tyner Scott or Glasnow, Blake Snell, because they're winning. They're the standard of winning and the standard of an organization that wants to spend money to achieve a goal of winning. And I know it's going to piss off a lot of Yankee fans, but Hal Steinbrenner and the Yankee has not shown us that they're willing to go that above and beyond to win by signing players. And again, you don't want to go out there and tell them to spend like drunken morons or overspending for players. I get it. But the Dodgers have not overspent, really. If you look at the way they've been maneuvering, the way they're bringing guys in, other than Tanner Scott, I think Tanner Scott was a little bit, $74 million. You could debate that. But bringing Naoki Sasaki in the international pool money because you had other guys in, and they circumvented the cap with the Shohei Ohtani deal that they, put him on layaway for later on. It showed big, smart, innovative general manager willing and dealing, which was, I got to give it to them. Cashman and the Yankees doesn't have to overreact to the Dodgers, but we're talking about the Dodgers right now. Is that good for baseball? My question, and I'm going to go back to my question that I had earlier. They're ridiculous. Is that terrible? Have they become terrible for baseball? If you're a team of the Kansas City Royals, a fan, if you're a fan of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, let's talk about the West, who is kind of stacked. They have, they just signed Goldberg, Blackburn, excuse me, not Blackburn. The pitcher from the Orioles, I totally told a blank. I'm thinking of wrestling right now. They have a strong pitching line. They have a good team. If you're another team in that same division, like the Padres, with Michael King emerging, Luis Arraez, do they pivot? What is the hope do they have there in that division? Corbin Burns, thank you, Austin. Thank you. I totally. I mean, my age is probably showing right now. Corbin Burns, yes. So they have a stacked rotation out in Arizona. What does that give hope to the National League division, period? Again, baseball, I go back to that very wise tale from when we were playing ball back in La Pelota Redonda, the ball is round, anything could happen. There's 27 outs. Guys could come hit. You could get the Mark Lemkes. Who is Mark Lemke? Exactly. Guys who come up in the postseason and become giants, uber heroes. You could get those anything can happen in the postseason. Yes, you want to have the best odds with the best players. Nothing is guaranteed for the Dodgers. The only thing that could be guaranteed with that roster is they're going to be at the postseason. Now, could they now? Then they have to go out and win. Look at the Detroit Lions. They had a phenomenal year, and Detroit Lions are going home. Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniel, rookie, went into the dome and beat them. In sports, anything could happen. That is the fun stuff of us being fans. We get a little overreactive, and our fandom takes us above and beyond expectation or reality. And that's what makes sports so uber fun. And that's why we're talking some baseball here. We're talking some baseball. We'll talk some more with the Dodgers here. And Dodgers, Teoscar Hernandez, I don't know, can they add more? Would it surprise you if the Dodgers come out there and add more players? I mean, would it surprise me? Now, I'm going to go now to the teams around the league. The Dodgers now, you have to, just because the Dodgers is stacked, you don't wave the white flag. Major League Baseball, you don't wave the white flag. You have to now continue to pivot and build a team with baseball logic. What wins? Pitching, defense, and time and good hitting wins you baseball games. Doesn't mean that you wave the white flag. You go get whatever best players are out there that fits your organization, your style of baseball, and you go out and win. One team that I'm seeing is a lot of pressure, in my opinion, are the Toronto Blue Jays. Do the Toronto Blue Jays now see what the Dodgers done? They're spending a lot of money, and they're not afraid of adding more players onto that organization, to that roster. I know you got Freddie Freeman. It'll be uber crazy if Vlad Guerrero finds his way to the Dodgers. But at this point of right now, as of today, does that shock you? If coming next year, 2025, Vladimir Guerrero signs a free agent deal with the Dodgers, it wouldn't. So my point is, if you're the Blue Jays and you have this kid in your organization, you have, and again, you don't have to circumvent and give the $650 million contract. Listen to what the agents got to say, evaluate and see and make your right assessments. You might have to want to re-sign Vladimir Guerrero, especially with the New York Mets lurking and looking to want to probably add a Vlad Guerrero there, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a team that's going to be an anti-Dodger that wants to stack up against and take down the Dodgers, and that could be the New York Mets. So Met fans, you might have something cooking in Queens soon. I see Yamakudo coming next year. What is he? Who is he? It's another. Is he going to the Dodgers? I'm again, Dayton. I am not big on the Japanese players because all they show us that they only want to go play for the Dodgers. They don't want to play for anyone on the East Coast. They don't want to pick the. If the Japanese players will pick the Red Sox, let's say, or the Blue Jays, or because the Blue Jays have a big Japanese community in Toronto. And if they was to go there, okay, I understand the Japanese players want to spread out. They want to try, or the foreign player, the Oriental players want to go in and play, and they don't want to play. They all want to run to the Dodgers or the Padres. To me, it's not even me personally. I don't want to talk about them in my channel. To be honest with you, because all they do is pick them. They'll use the Yankees and get you guys all excited, get you all lathered up, get you oh, let's get this guy. How many of the Japanese players that since I've been covering baseball on my channel for 4 years, you guys bring up all of them, and I don't see none of them on the Yankees. This first baseman from here, Hinkang Kim, some young guy, they don't play for the Yankees. They don't want the Yankees. So I don't want to sound that guy, but it's the truth. They only use the Yankees to get their name clout for you guys. So you guys could go crazy and retweet and redo videos about them. You don't know nothing about them if they're going to translate, and they end up going with the Dodgers anyway. So it's like, I feel like pulling my hair. I feel like screaming, like, don't give them clout. When they shine, let's go see. Once they say the Yankees have assigned so-and-so from the Far East, let's see the highlights. Let's see who they are. For me, other than that, I am not. I got myself burned a little bit with Oroki Sasaki. I thought there was going to be a chance that Sasaki was going to sign with the Yankees because he didn't want the pressure of being a starting pitching right away, and he wanted to ease his way in. Yankees had 6 starters. They still have 6 starters on their rotation. He could have went to the minor league system, get into the Yankee way of pitching, the American League, learning and scouting, getting under the coaching, and then in the midseason come out like a house of fire. Not a lot of scouting report on him. He goes in there. He's going to be setting himself for success. He didn't pick the Yankees. So I got a little bit into that hype train for him. I got burned. I'm going to be honest with you. Doesn't mean that I have bitter feelings. I just don't want to talk about the Japanese players no more because they don't want to play with the Yankees. So I am not going to give them any clout. So adios, sayonara to them when it comes to baseball. Yankees are used to driving up prices, but yes, and the Yankees know that. And I'm glad you made that. Let me leave that out there. I want to ask that question to everyone. Knowing that free agents, players, and their representatives love to use the Yankees as clickbait or driving up the prices. Do you blame the Yankees not to want to be in on these the organization as a whole, to really go in blindly or 2 feet forward on trying to acquire these type of players that say they have interest in the Yankees, where the Yankees say it seems like the Yankees lean back too much when it comes to players. When it comes to free agents who are out there in the market, the Yankees seem like okay, but they seem like they've been burned so much that they're sticker shock. They're like me right now when it comes to a Japanese player. I think the Yankees feel I'm trying to compare myself to it. I'm trying to give a better analogy on it. I think the Yankees feel like I've been there, done that, and I just don't want to be a bridesmaid no more. It feels like the Yankees continue to be used as the one person to get them into the Roxbury's, and then once you get in the Roxbury's, she don't want to dance with you no more. Oh, thank you, you got me into the club. See you later. And I think the Yankees are getting tired of that song and dance, that show and pony, being burned and bought into it. And again, we'll find out with Cashman here, with some of these players. We'll get to the Yankees. We'll wrap up here the Toronto Blue Jays. Now the Blue Jays, do they sign Vladimir Guerrero in extension? If Glad doesn't want to play there, then you have to go. You have to see if you trade him. If you move forward, the Mets are hot and heavy for Vladimir Guerrero. Why are the Mets hot and heavy? Because they look like the Mets are passing on Pete Alonso, the polar bear. Looks like the talks broken down. There was an ultimatum or a deal that the Mets, Boris and the Mets couldn't come to an agreement. It was a 3-year. It reports. This is not really accurate. 3 years around the 90 million mark, $33 million a year, 30 for Pete Alonso, 35. It looks like David Stearns doesn't like Pete Alonso for that money long term. They all talk about David Stearns. Here's the problem when it comes to the Mets. This is my opinion, looking in from the outside. And of course, I'm a Yankee fan, but I like the Mets. I'm a New York baseball fan. I like to see the Mets do well. My point is, I think when it came, this is the disservice for Steve Cohen. He signed himself a baseball president operation, GM, that has a small-minded or a low-budget mentality. And I know you don't want someone to go out there like drunken sailor. I don't know if Major League Baseball put those restrictions or those training wheels on Cohen. You have to have this type of general manager, because Sandy Alderson was another one who loved to go bargain basement shopping. When you have an owner who's supposed to be the richest owner in baseball, who just signed Juan Soto for a ridiculous contract, right? It's like you're going to buy yourself a high-end sports car and you're going to put donuts as wheels. You have to go get the rims. You have to go get the proper tires for that sports car to fly, to go and showcase. Not donut tires. And again, I'm not saying the Mets have gotten any donuts, but they haven't done much. They're still lacking. There's a lot of question mark, Met fans. And now you're going to lose a first baseman, your power number. Yeah, you got Jesse Winker. Nice. You got Jose Siri in center field. Awesome. You're relying on Vientos and Beatty and Mauricio. Yes, that's great. You got 2 young players. You have to bring back your homegrown Pete Alonso. He's good for the team. He's good for the fan base. You also, guess what? You have to also make money. You have to also have people want to buy season tickets. You bring in, even if your pitching is a little bit scarce, if you're bringing Alonso and Soto return, people are going to go out there for that star power see that 1-2 punch between those two, and there's hope with the young guys and a Lindor, and you have something. You have to bring Alonso back, because the first base option, other than Vladimir Guerrero Jr., isn't really going to get your fans excited and sexy. Boy, you want to see David Stern get turned on. Let's say the Mets struggle coming out of the gate in April, they might struggle in April. The Mets might struggle in April because they're bringing in, they're learning their pitching staff. Soto's getting implemented. He might be up and going, but other teammates might struggle in their batting lineup or the lack of protection and so forth. So just think about how the Mets fans are going to turn on David Stern and what we could have gotten this, we couldn't gotten that. Or the pitching staff is hurting a little bit. You could have Corbin Burns. You could have had Matt Street. It wasn't even a potential. Frankie Montas. He starts off, pulls a hamstring. Hopefully not, and he misses a couple starts early in the season. The irony of the Mets fans is going to come throwing down on the Mets, and they're going to say last year was a fluke. The Mets, you have to go get pitching. You gotta. bring Pete Alonso. You got to get pitching. You got to get some reliever. You have a long way to go to build on that team. I'm shocked that Alonso isn't back with the Mets. He's a homegrown guy. Plus, he makes the lineup deeper. Absolutely, Austin. He makes that lineup continue to go. Protection for Juan Soto, because you just put 4 balls, walk pitch around Soto, and then now then the Mets. Who's gonna Winker? You think Winker's gonna give you Pete Alonso's numbers? And I know the Pete Alonso haters are going to say he doesn't bat for a high batting average, but his threat at the batter's box when he steps in there, he can launch it. He could take you deep at any time. This guy hits over 30 plus home runs, and especially in that City Field for the Mets. You have something that's yours and knows how to play the pressure of New York. Knows and is an ambassador. He knows how to all that stuff. I'm shocked that the Mets are not going and bringing him back here. I'm surprised that they're having a divorce and then going their separate ways again, unless that they can. And I could even give you the opposite of the other stuff. Vlad Guerrero is a wonderful first baseman, but he hasn't won anything with Toronto. He hasn't really put his team on that back. You could say with Pete, at times he has put the Mets on his back. He has carried the Mets. He has gotten the Mets postseason 100 plus. He's been part of the 100 plus win team for the Mets. Vladimir Guerrero hasn't really done much. Really, he's a great, phenomenal player. Came postseason. Look at their postseason run at that time they went there. Again, when he had a bunch of young core players around Vladimir Guerrero in Toronto, I'm not trying to say negative stuff of Vlad Guerrero, although it does sound like that. But when you compare it to the impact that Vlad has done over Pete Alonso in the city of New York, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to compare and want to put all your eggs in the Vlad. I know he's younger. Vlad is younger and all that stuff. But what is the one thing that the New York Mets or baseball in general that makes fun of Vladimir Guerrero is his weight. And Pete Alonso, there's a world where you could keep both. You could keep both Alonso and Vladimir Guerrero. Alonso could be a designated hitter. You could move it around. It's a funny thing. As we got Tony in the building. What's up? Because if the Yankees get Mike Trout, but I don't know about his health. That's one tough one there, Tony, because he cannot stay healthy though, and and Anaheim will ask for a lot. If you could get him for something really good, would you want to get a Mike Trout? Of course, absolutely. Bring him back to the East Coast. I mean, but then you're getting a lot of what ifs, a lot of injury what ifs, because we've got Paul Goldschmidt, which he's coming off a opportunity to get a resurgence with the Yankees. Of course, let's get to the Yankees right here. Yankees are banking on filling their defense over Soto's absence, signing former Met Dominic Smith. But before I get to Dom Smith, we're talking about veterans and of course you mentioned Mike Trout, guys that are trying to catch lightning in a bottle for a veteran, and that's what they're trying to do with Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt, I think me and my son Austin agree. I think he's going to have a really good year with the New York Yankees. That 1-year deal, he is going to probably play himself for a multi-year contract. That's how good he's going to have a season with the Yankees. Remember, this guy's 2 years removed from an MVP. You don't lose it like that quick. You lose it slowly, but you don't lose it that fast. And I don't think Goldschmidt, he doesn't have to be in that. He doesn't have to be the central location of the batting lineup. But when you have a Judge, you have a Giancarlo Stanton, you have a Corbin Bellinger, and of course you have players. I think Goldschmidt is going to fit in like a glove in with the New York Yankees. I think that's going to be a really nice one. I think they think they're going to catch lightning in the bottle. Again, for Goldschmidt is his health. If he stays healthy, and the Yankees smart. If they're going after this 1-year veteran, if there's something there where he's not living up to par or is not living the bill or he lost his fastball, they signed Dom Smith in a minor league deal. He's going to give the minor league system some depth. He could also play some left field. He could play some designated hit. He could hit at the designated hitter. He could be first baseman. Also a guy for that could fit Yankee Stadium. You're telling me Dom Smith's swing or his, the way he hits is not going to benefit from the short porch at Yankee Stadium. I'm not saying he's going to come up here and be Babe Ruth, but if he tells you he comes in here for maybe 2 call-ups during the season and he gets you 9 to 10 home runs in 225 plate appearance, I think Yankee fans are going to like that from a Dominic Smith. And he makes himself part of the 26-man roster of his play. That deep bench there, maybe, and who knows? It's a good one for the Yankees to have depth. They're going to have himself. Now you have guys who could play multiple positions in the outfield and the infield. Dominic Smith could play first. We know Bellinger can move to first and play center field. You got some moving parts in case some injuries there and so forth. I know I'm going to go to Aiden's question there. He had a question about let me go right here. There it goes. Aiden asked, would you trade for Arenado and have him play third, plus he will give us a gold glove? Arenado, the Yankees got some good pitching. And why do I bring pitching before talking about Arenado? You need defense. You need someone who could pick it in the hot corners, especially with Max Fried pitching. He's going to get a lot of right-hand hitters pull some ball. You got to have someone who's sure with that glove, who can make the play. Volpe is a Gold Glove winning shortstop, but there's a lot of people that say his range is up in the air, a little questionable. Some people don't really like. I thought it was a smoke and mirrors with Volpe as a defensive shortstop. Doesn't get into the hole, but if you got a guy like Arenado who has that range and his defensive metric still shows that he's a really good third baseman, it's up to the Yankees though. Do they feel like they have enough offense in the in American League that they want to add a Goldschmidt in one corner and Arenado in the other corner? Veteran guys with a lot of question marks, what ifs. That's another one. And you also have DJ LeMahieu part of the roster. Now you have to play LeMahieu if he's going to play in the roster. I don't know. I don't know if maybe DJ becomes part of a deal when you send Will Warren or others for St. Louis. We gotta find out what St. Louis wants in return for Arenado and without destroying the Yankees farm system. I won't give up Spencer Jones or Dominguez to bring in Arenado. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I'm one of the few who likes Spencer Jones. You know, I know they say he's a strikeout machine, but when you're when you have that height, that his stature physically, and I'm a big fan of him. I think he's going to be a good player. Personally, what's up, Robert Diaz? Who would you trade? Robert, give me a little more specific for the Yankees, Major League Baseball. I'm pretty sure we're talking Yankees. Personally, right now out there, I really don't know if there's a third baseman that I could trade for. I don't know if Tampa wants to give up, their third baseman for the Yankees. I don't know if that trade will go well with one another. Work for Arenado is one that Aiden just brought up. I wouldn't mind trading for Nolan, but I just don't know what the Yankees have to give up in return, and what am I going to get in my return for Arenado? Maybe he gets invested and gets rejuvenated coming to New York for the Yanks. Okay, I assume that Robert. It's a tough one because we got pitching, we got closer. We're looking at trying to sign Tim Hill for our left-handed reliever off the pen, which is good, especially now known lefty Cortez, who could have come out of the bullpen. I don't think he was going to be your closer or high leverage reliever, but he was a lefty in case you needed it in the middle innings. You got Tim Hill for that. I don't know. We need a third baseman. We need a third baseman, honestly. I know that the Yankees were inquired about Marcus Stroman being moved. I don't know if they'll pick up a farm system, a AAA player, AA player for Marcus Stroman to move him, and you also have to bring depth, because I asked this a lot to Yankee Nation. When it was the last time the Yankees have brought up a AAA or minor league third baseman with a lot of promise? You remember you had Mike Lowe, you had Russell Davis. Yankees in the past always had that in their minor league system, and first baseman. You had Greg Bird, you had Kevin Moss, you had so many different first basemen in their minor league system that had a lot of hype. Yeah, you could say they never panned out in the minor league, but they had a lot of promising and popping circumstances. The Yankees haven't had that in quite some time in the corner infielders position. It's been a long time, and the Yankees in the 90s, 80s always had that blue chipper that the Yankees thought about. That were being touted, and there was a lot of hype around them, and we haven't had that in a long time. With the way the Yankees have been scouting and drafting players in the past 5 years, so I kind of would like to see them try to pluck something or get something from one of the minor league. If they want to trade a Stroman or drop salary and get and pick up a double A player. I know someone say that isn't really part of their 40-man roster or the deep 40-man where they could have them there, develop a Yankee system, see what you got there, maybe for 2-3 years down the line where you bring in a third baseman. If you get a Nolan Arenado who could play maybe 2 years to 3 at the hot corner, if it makes sense there on that. There you go. Alex Bregman is out there. Let me get this one. He goes, Key Brian Hayes requested a trade. I don't know if the Yankees are interested in that maneuver, if he fits the bill for the Yankees. Always, you don't say no, Aiden. If some players are out there, it's up to the Yankees, and I'm sure they're doing their due diligence. They're calling, they're making the calls, they're making the requests, they're finding out who other teams are willing to trade with, who they're willing to part, who's on the table, who's not on the table, how much money does the Yankees have to absorb, or vice versa for players exchange. So I'm pretty sure they're making their deal. Here it is, Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman is still out there. And again, there's only 20 days left out, Tony. 20 days left for spring training. Pitchers and catchers report, some of them around the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, of February. So that's not far from now. That's right around the corner. That's a hop, skip away, a blink. You're right now, you're going to be into the NFC title game next week. Royal Rumble. You're talking about, Super Bowl, and then boom, pitchers and catchers are right there, and you're ready, and you're waiting for another 2 days before the first spring training game kick out. So it's going to come quickly. And for some of these players that don't have a contract yet, and they want to know where they're going to uproot their family, do they have to go? What city? For school systems and all that stuff. They need to know. They're on pins and needles themselves. They also got to worry about their off-season programs and getting their body physically and mentally ready. And then they have to worry about where they're going to sign. It's a tough one. It's a funny one. Tough one there. Here's another one. Who is the best player in the Yankees? That's Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge to me is the Yankees' best player. No questions asked about it, in my opinion. Despite him dropping that ball in the World Series, mistakes happen. We all make mistakes. Some of us drops anything in our hands by opening up the refrigerator. Let alone some of us with the fork. So a fly ball in the World Series, I'm not going to get mad with Aaron Judge on that. I think we're getting Tim Hill. The Yankees and Tim Hill, looks like a marriage is going to happen. They're going to get that going. They're going to get that ball moving for the Yankees for Aiden. I think Tim Hill will be back as the lefty specialist for the Yankees in that bullpen. I really thought Gleyber Torres was going to be a start. Me too. I know my son Austin bought me for Christmas, back to back. Him and my son both bought me a Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge jersey, and I was like kind of hinting my next one will be Gleyber Torres. Glad they didn't do that, because I was a big Gleyber Torres fan. I thought this kid was going to be a mega star with the Yankees. I was wrong on that one. I thought Gleyber Torres was going to be with you. I thought, because he came up with a lot of pop and circumstances. A lot of I don't know what I think we could debate about that, Tony. I don't know. My opinion with Gleyber Torres, he benefited from the live baseball. Remember they changed the baseball? When that live baseball, I think the numbers inflated because of that juice ball that they called it, the juice ball before the pandemic and around there. I think he benefited with that, and I think we got a little fool's gold. I still think in between from how bad Gleyber Torres played to how really good he was, there's something in between. I think the Tigers are going to get something in between there. But for the Yankees, I think he needed to leave New York. I think Gleyber needed to leave New York, just because we all think about we only remember whenever Torres did anything, we always thought about him being a little lazy, not living to expectation. So he's better off going to Detroit, clean slate, new fan base who's going to see him night in, night out, and he has a new beginning to make it a first impression on a new whole fan base. So for Gleyber Torres, that was the best thing for him and for the Yankees as well, because the Yankees take that position at second base, and he could do so many different things there for the future. Santander is still not. Yeah, a lot of players are very frustrated for him not signing. Personally, Aiden, Santander on a short-term deal to the Mets as their designated hitter will be phenomenal. You put Santander on the Mets to be their designated hitter who could play occasionally first base there if they want to move, and they have that moving around. He could also play the outfield. He could play the outfield for some games, designated hitter, play a little first base for the Mets, move him around there, stopgap. Although he's not really a stopgap guy because you're gonna have to sign him for 4 years or 5, but he's there. When I mean stopgap, who could play some first, move around. And when you bring in Vladimir Guerrero, you could have them rotating and also left field. I think the Mets will benefit with Anthony Santander signing with them. He don't fit the New York Yankees perspective. I don't think he don't fit the Yankees at all. You already have Judge in right field. You're gonna go with Dominguez in left, and you had to go younger in the outfield position because you want your defense strong. You also have Goldschmidt at first. You also have Giancarlo Stanton, who's going to probably play a little left field from time to time, maybe 25 games. And you want to keep that. You don't want to have that lock-in. You have DJ LeMahieu, who we don't know what we're going to do with him as well. So it doesn't fit the Yankees, Santander. But yes, Blue Jays might get Santander. That's another person there because you want to weaken your division foe. That's another one. That's why I hope he goes to the Mets because it weakens the Orioles even more. And also, I don't want him to help the Blue Jays and Vladimir Guerrero have be a force in the American League East. Again, I still as a Yankee fan want to win the American League East. I want to be the division winners. I want to be the darling of the division. Then we'll go from there. How do you feel calling Bellinger be on his team? I hope he comes back here and crushes it. I like it, Tony. I was one that wanted him 2 years ago. I was like, we got to go get Bellinger. Bellinger fits a bit at first base. He can play. His swing, his translates well for the Yankee Stadium. I've always been a big proponent when it comes to New York Yankee baseball. Or you have to bring players that fit your home stadium, Yankee Stadium. That's why I was big on when there was that time in the pitching when you had a chance between Frankie Montas when he was with the A's and also Sean Manaea. I was a big Sean Manaea. I wanted Sean Manaea over Frankie Montas, not because I didn't know he was going to be hurt and all, because of the left-handed. Yankees, when they win World Championships, you can see it back from Ron Guidry, Andy Pettitte, so forth. You always, and CC Sabathia, you're always going to have that good left-handed pitching to neutralize the left-handed hitting, because now the opposing teams, when they come to Yankee Stadium, they got to make it right-handed heavy. Why? There's Death Valley in Yankee Stadium. It's a tough part to pull the ball out to right center field. You lose a lot of outs. So you have a left-handed pitcher who could dominate that, who could control the strike zone. That's what makes recipes to success. You want to bring in pitchers or hitters that accommodate your stadium, your home. You're going to play 82 games there. You want to win. You want to have a high winning percentage at home. You bring players to fit your team. That's why a lot of Yankee fans were irate 5 years ago when Cashman made it so right-handed heavy, and he went away from the Yankee moniker, not having left-handed hitting to capitalize on Yankee Stadium. So I'm a big proponent on that. You build the team with, first and foremost, up the middle, just like Waddy Warsaw said. You got to have up the middle strength. Your center fielder, your shortstop, your second baseman, your catcher's got to be good defensive, and then you fill the team according to your arena, your stadium. And I'm a big proponent on that. I always been on that. I think that works. Formula that's like putting on your pants one leg at a time. I think you bring a stadium that you bring players that fit your stadium. You want, because of course you generate buzz. If you win, you have high winning percentage. People are going to show out. They're going to go. They're going to spend money. Guess what? Now you can sign better and upgrade players. It all goes hand in hand. It's a chain reaction when it comes to the way you build the players. Japanese market are attracted to the Dodgers and LA, the weather and the ballpark. That's why they're not signing there. It's also a lot of different things too there, Aiden. I personally think the Yankees are the best team in the American League. They should get back to the World Series, especially when they look at the rest of the American League. The Yankees upgraded, Austin. I agree with you. The Yankees, with their pitching staff, made a trade. Yes, Robert. I'll ask. I'll get that in a second, Robert. I'll get that. I'll get to you right there. Right. Give me a second. I'll leave it up there. Let me answer this one to Austin. The Yankees upgraded where a lot of American League teams haven't really upgraded much. The Yankees added 2 strong arms in Max Fried. They continue to add more pitching. They continue to do Devin Williams. They totally made their defense and their lineup a little longer. I know you lost Soto, but their Plan B pivot has been really good on point. I don't think a lot of people, and I said it on other videos. I don't think the Yankees Plan B, no one had that drawn up the way that the Yankees executed it. Is it finished yet? It's 80. To me personally, I think the Yankees plan B is 85% completed. I don't know if they'll do the 100% completed before opening day, guys. Maybe that's something within the middle of the season. But I think they're 85% where they want to be. I still think there's always 15% of room for improvement. Bregman, the third baseman situation, Arenado, you could, who knows what they want to add here. Tim Hill still part of that equation, the left-handed reliever coming on the bullpen. I kind of want like a high leverage guy who could throw high, in the high 90s, mid 90s from the left-hand side, but I don't think that guy's out there, guys. So maybe that's something that the Yankees could look for in the trade at the trade deadline. But here's the one thing about MLB trading deadline. We're going to talk about trade here. I don't know if a lot of teams will be able to trade with the expanded wild card and expanded postseason opportunities. Teams are not going to be reluctant to trade away players because they think they're still in it. And you never, case in point, look at the Mets, the way they started off terrible last season and they made it all the way to the National League Championship Series. So teams are going to see that inspiration to the Phillies, a couple years ago, the Diamondbacks. So teams don't think they're completely out. You could go on a run. That's why I say, the Dodgers, they might be stacked, but all you need is an inspiration, a great month, and catch lightning in a bottle, catch on fire, la pelota redonda, the ball is round, and you see teams like Arizona, Philadelphia just make a run, the Mets, and you never know who gets knocked off, what Goliath gets knocked off from a David. So you never know that. And do you ever trade Aaron Judge? At this time right now, I don't see that happening, Robert, for many reasons. He's the face of the franchise. He's your captain. He took less money to come play for the New York Yankees, unless if things go really south. I mean, it's got to go putrid south. That he requests a trade, I don't see that, Robert. I don't see Aaron Judge playing for another ball. He's going to be one of those few and between players that stays with that one team. Now, this is the modern day sports. Anything can happen. No one thought that LeBron was going to leave Cleveland. If there's anything can happen, I'm going to say never say never. I'll give that a 5% chance that the Yankees will trade Aaron Judge as of right now. Now, you could reserve to change your mind in the future because things could change, things could pan out, certain things. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that. I don't see it happening. What's going on, Daniel Barrow Sports Highlight? Happy Sunday to you, friend. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much to see you. Hope your Sunday is going well. I hope it's treating you lovely. And of course, I hope everyone is enjoying your Sunday here. Whether you're snowed in up in the Northeast or you're rained down here down in the South in Florida, and hope you guys are doing a wonderful Sunday. Get some wings, some barbecue, order in some food, and get ready for some football later on this evening and some Genesis. And so, again, if you like wrestling, I got TNA Genesis. We're going to be watching that pay-per-view. Come watch it with us on the Playback app. You're going to actually watch the wrestling with me, not just hear me and me telling you what's going on. You're going to actually see it, hear it, and watch along with us. We're going to have the Playback app there. You're going to see it there. And hopefully in the near future, we're going to have the Yankee baseball there. So, Yankee fans, I went away a little bit from the Yankee watch along for other reasons. I'm not going to go into it. Coming the new season, we're going to have playback. We're going to be seeing the Yankee game, as I call it, with the balls and strikes, the way we've done it before with the watch along. We're going to be able to see the games there. So it's going to be fun. We're going to be able to see the ball strike three and all that, the Yankee home runs. We're going to be able to watch along. We're taking the watch along experience to all our sports to another level. So if you want to see a sample of what it's going to look like, it's not the Yankees, but it's going to be wrestling tonight. Join us for TNA Wrestling. We're going to have, hopefully in the near future, MMA. We'll get to see some MMA. We just had the UFC pay-per-view last night. Due to some reasons, we couldn't show. We couldn't arrange it in time. You might be able to see the MMA pay-per-views on there on the Playback. So hit us up. It's Playback TV, Sports Jedi Network. Be a member. Hit the notification. Right now, we're showing you Knicks basketball. If you're a Knicks basketball fan, you get to see the games there. You can ask Tony. Tony could testify. You will see the game. It's awesome. It's like, my goodness, it takes the experience to another level, and we want you to join and help us grow that platform. Because we're going to do is when we grow it, we're going to have individual rooms. Right now, we have the Heal the Ring individual for wrestling, and we're going to put combat sports there. We're going to do wrestling and combat sports. It's going to be the Heal the Ring. Then we're going to have Jedi Sports Network, maybe I'll keep the baseball and basketball together with some hockey there. But if we get an overwhelming baseball community there, we'll make the Bronx Bombers Strike Back its own room, only baseball. And you could treat it. And the great thing about it, you could treat it like a Discord. If we're off the season, you guys want to talk baseball, go on there. I get notified when you write, unlike YouTube, where you write in the chat. I won't know unless if I go onto the video. If you write anything there, I see it immediately and I could respond, or other people that are members there could respond, and you kind of treat it like a Discord, which is phenomenal. I love it there. Let's go to some questions. How do you think? Who do you think is better right now, Mets or Yankees? Right now, it's the Yankees, because when you could put up a starting pitching staff the way the Yankees are showing right now against the Mets or any teams, the Yankees are deep. Who's going to match up Cole game one? Oh, maybe Cole Isenga? Okay. But with the lineup, 1 through 9, the Mets don't have a first baseman. The Mets, I have questions. And who's going to close for the Mets? Diaz. Who's going to set up? Who's going to be the bridge to a Diaz for the Mets? The Yankees got something. They got Williams. They got a bullpen. They got a bullpen. Weaver. They've got. The Yankees got less question marks than the New York Mets. So currently, right now, I got to give the nod to the Yankees over the Mets. Now things could change. The Mets could make some moves here before opening day. So we're like, ooh, wow, we didn't see that happening. They have Vlad Guerrero there. They can even have both Guerrero and Pete Alonso, or they might even they might just sign Breckman and instead of Pete, you're trading a contact hitter with some power on third base, and then you can move Vientos at first base. There's some moving parts there, or Santander, and the Mets might look different, Robert. So as of currently right now, as we sit, it looks like it's the New York Yankees is a little better team than the Mets. Now it could change, and I'm gonna be real. I have to be realistic and I have to be honest. Right now, that could change. That could change. How many years do you think Stanton has left being productive? I think Stanton. Here's the problem with Giancarlo, Tony. He's productive. I think us as Yankee fans, we want to see MVP Marlin Giancarlo Stanton. And anything less or short, we feel like we got sold the bill of goods. We didn't. It's like when it's. I always bring it to food or something on that. You want to buy a dozen of Tate's cookies, and you only get 8 of the, and it's 8 of a dozen of Tate cookies. You feel underperformed because you wanted 12 Tate cookies. The Tate cookie is the best chocolate cookie, in my opinion. And you get 8 instead of a dozen of Baker's dozen 12, you feel shortchanged. And I think the Yankee fans, it's good. What he's going to give you is pretty good, but he just wanted 12. I think that's the best analogy I could bring. I think we feel that we get undersold with Stanton. I know what frustrates me is the injury. Like you do just a simple rundown and you're pulling a hamstring, and it takes you forever to return from the most simple injury, or like, man, and then it takes him so long to get going. And when he does get going, boy, he is electric. Stanton, when he's hot and he's electric, he is unstoppable. But when he's cold, oof, it's like an extreme when it comes to him. Yes, and here it is. He's testifying. It's an amazing experience. You get to watch it live as he streams. WTNA. Please come be part of. Yes, please be part of that. Absolutely appreciate you, Tony, for your live testimony. Appreciate it. Mets are talking again with Alonso. It makes sense, Aiden. It makes sense because it seems like Major League Baseball doesn't really have a market for Pete Alonso. I don't think there's other teams out there. The Dodgers aren't going to add Pete Alonso at first because they have Freddie Freeman, who's kind of right now it's much better player than Pete Alonso. You saw he was just MVP of the World Series. You're not gonna upgrade him there. So that's why I think the Mets played a little bit of a risky hardball game when it came to Boris and Pete Alonso. Yeah, not succumbing or bowing down to his demands. Like go find elsewhere, because I don't know if the Red Sox were interested in Pete Alonso, although that would be a nice spot there. You put Devers, and I know their defense might be a little bit not so hot, but you put Devers and Alonso in the corners for the Red Sox. That's not a bad looking trio there on the corners, in the hot corners. You could do worse. They could be worse. You could put that there. I don't know. I don't know if the Orioles fits for Pete Alonso. at first base, especially since they moved the fences back in Oriole Park. I don't know if that's going to be a good spot for him there. I don't see a lot of other places for a Pete doing that. So, hey, AJ, what's going on, AJ? Good to see you, friend. I hope you're doing well. Oh, it's good to see you on a Sunday. I hope Sunday's treating you well. Yes, I am enjoying it, and even better seeing you there. I hope you're doing good. I can't wait for spring training. I think everyone can't wait for spring training. To be honest with you, I think everyone can't wait for spring training. Yeah, just something about it, knowing that baseball and the warm weather is coming around the corner. Even if you're in the northeast and it's still chilly, it's still frigid, it still gets dark early at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But you know that they get down in Tampa, down in spring training, Arizona. God, the boys of summer are getting ready. They're getting acclimated. They're getting their season ready. And you know the warmth weather, the camaraderie, the hot dog, green grass, all that good stuff of baseball is coming, and that puts a warm smile on everyone's face. You know, for those that are on the east, me here in Florida, it's always summer, except for these few days. So, you know, I go, who would be your breakout prospect to break camp called up for the Yankees this year? That's a good one, Aiden. I think Baden, you know what? I'm going to go with a one that I don't know if he's a call up race breakout prospect, but I think Ben Rice. I think Ben Rice is going to have a lot to say. Ben Rice had a little bit of a taste of playing first base with the New York Yankees last year. I think he got to see some major league pitching, and he wasn't that shabby of a player. I think Ben Rice saw the promised land as being a major league player night in, night out. And I think he is not a slight, but I think he's going to get motivated that he doesn't want to go down and stay and go to AAA to Scranton. I think he's going to want to make a noise where he's going to make it a little difficult for the Yankees to make a decision on him being part of the 40-man or the 26-man roster coming out of spring training. I'm going to go with Ben Rice. To me, it's going to be Ben Rice. I think he's going to be one of those like, damn, he have a hell of a spring. And I think he's going to be better defensively where you're going to be like, wow, Ben Rice has, he's going to open up some eyes. And I think that's the guy. I think I'm going to go with Ben Rice. I think he's going to have that big impact. What do you think? Who do you think that will win? Blue Jays or Yankees? I think right now the Yankees are a better team as well. Yankees are the defending, regardless of the fact they're the defending American League champion, also the winner of the division. Until that's not done, and until someone wins that, clinches next year in 2025, right now they got to be the favorite. On paper, they're the favorite. They're the favorite to return for the American League, especially as we spoke with Austin and we mentioned a little earlier, Robert. We upgraded so many different areas. We upgraded in pitching. We upgraded in bullpen, in our defense. So the Yankees made some upgrade. Doesn't mean it's going to translate on the field. Let's keep it 100% honest. Just, it looks great on paper, but on paper only takes you as far as the paper could take you. You still got to execute it on the field. The one concern to me for the New York Yankees, and I've said it time and time again, I mentioned it so much, I'm not a fan of Boone. I'm not a fan of his managerial style. Because when you have a team who could pitch, who could defend, and you're gonna need some strategy. You're gonna have to go on some guts. You have to go on some feel. You have to make some plays. You have to also push the narrative as a manager, making the correct decisions, on when to go on a hit and run. And you have to have that hunch. You can't go by a book, a binder, or a math equation, or on your analytics to do it. You also have to take the temperature of the game and see and put in accountability of the human aspect of the game. And I don't know if Boone is that type of player. He's a data applicator. He's not a person who in real time feel, he doesn't manage by that. So that's the one thing that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid the Yankees might turn into the Detroit Lions. All this great stuff in the regular season, come postseason, and then they poop the bed. I hope not. That's the one thing that worries me about it. I'm excited to see how Colin Bellinger looks this year. I'm excited with that too. I'm very excited to see Colin Bellinger. Also, no one takes accountability that Colin Bellinger grew up as a kid in Yankee Stadium with his father, Clay. Clay wasn't the greatest player. He was you could say 24th, 26th man on the roster, 25th man on the roster at that time for the Yankees. But he was still part of that championship pedigree. The kid was around greatness, championship, Yankee lore. those dynasty teams growing up, shagging fly balls, getting some tips. Also coming to a stadium that he's fond of, and he might have envisioned himself playing for. So I think Cody Bellinger is going to be more than uber stacked and excited. And for him, the pinstripes, the interlocking NY, the Yankee lore means much more to him. He respects it more. And again, it's not about taking shots, but he seems like he's going to respect more what it be like to be a Yankee than what Soto showed us. Soto didn't play bad for the Yankees. Again, it's not a shot at Soto. Soto played phenomenal. He swung us into the World Series. If it wasn't for that home run from Soto, we wouldn't be in the World Series. So he swung and literally took the team to the World Series. But at the end of the day, I think it means more to be a Yankee for Bellinger than it would have been for Soto. What it meant more for Soto was the opportunity to make more money swinging the Yankees into the World Series. For Bellinger, yes, the fame and glory, but the opportunity to do it as a New York Yankee to him, I think, is more important for a Clay Bellinger or a Cody Bellinger than to a Juan Soto. Again, I'm not taking shot at Soto. I wish he would have stood with us, but I think that's what it is. Alonso doesn't want to go to Toronto. I get you. You're right. You're right. But we're just putting names out there. You're absolutely right. I don't want Soto. I don't want Alonso to go to Toronto either. But I have to put names where his talent and where he'll fit and will help the team. If he goes there, if there's an opportunity for him to play first base. I'm with you. I don't think he wants to play north of the border. I'm 1,000% with you, but we have to ask those questions as well. You have to throw it out there. Do you think the Dodgers all season is done? Aiden, with the Dodgers, I don't think they're ever done. With the Dodgers, the way they don't care, they spend, they want to upgrade. I don't think they're done. I don't know, what they're going to do with that 26-man roster, 40-man roster, with all the players that they have. You might, but if you tell me, if a report comes out that the Dodgers signs Bregman at third and they move Muxie around, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Heyman tweets out, or passing that the Dodgers come to an agreement with Bregman to play third base. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Wouldn't surprise me. So no, I don't think the Dodgers are done. I think the Dodgers still going to be talking to agents. They're still going to be talking to people. They're going to still be kicking the doors down. They're going to be talking to everyone, anyone, and whoever's listens, whoever they could upgrade, whoever they could get, they're going to have that opportunity. I don't think so. All right, so keep the questions coming. I'm loving it. I'm loving the question. I'm loving back and forth commodity on a Sunday. Now, some people are snowed in, some people are rained in, and you have the opportunity. Let's have this conversation. Let's have this talk. Let's have this two-way talk, and it's great going on. And I appreciate everyone watching along. Appreciate everyone. I don't do much of the baseball content off season unless there's news. I like when there's news because you see how much substance, how much meat that there is to talk about. So much news and so much things to talk about. When you come on too consistently and you're sent to spin your wheels, rehashing and talking about the same thing, and then you become a little bit redundant. And that's why I don't like to do so many. I like to do it periodically, occasionally, maybe monthly. So we have a lot to talk about. We were on last month with Chris the Flash. Chris is working. By the way, check Chris the Flash Sports, please. Please hit the like, subscribe to Chris. Does phenomenal work there. He always joins me on the baseball talk. So please, I wanted to give that shout out as well. Plus, and he's so close. He's getting close to 1,000 subscribers. So please be a part and make him feel the force on that. Plus, Bellinger already had won a championship with the Dodgers. He has championship experience. I think, yes, the championship experience to get over the hump. Because everyone says, isn't that overrated with the championship experience? No, because championship experience means they prepare themselves mentally to what it takes to take that grind, to keep their body ready, to get prepared. How long of a season, to just not just physically, mentally, emotionally. That's why those things come big when you say championship experience players, because they know what it takes. They've been there. Even if they didn't do so well themselves, they were part of it. They saw how they got themselves prepared to go out there and win a championship or be in a position to possibly win a championship. Those playoff experiences, those championship experiences, win or lose, comes a long way when it comes to a professional athlete. They know what it takes to be mentally. They when they fail, they come with that hunger, that desire, that bitter taste to want to get there. So that's why maybe the Yankees this year might be a uber juggernaut because they tasted. And not only that, they got trolled by the Dodgers after losing that. So the Yankees are foaming in their mouths. That's a motivation. It's bulletin board material for them to go out there and repeat as American League champions and go forward. Do you have okay? Do you want to be a Yankee? Do you have to want to be a Yankee to play here? Most like the West Coast, and some want to be here in pinstripe. Um, Before it was. Here's the thing when it comes with that, Aiden. The way Major League Baseball has the MLB extra innings. Before, if you wanted to get that national exposure and people know who you were in a worldwide level, you had to come to the Yankees, the interlocking NY, New York, because you're now in the global. But now with Major League Baseball extra innings, where different teams is more become a regional sport, not a national sport. So now you're really going with the most money. Well, teams are going to pay you more, and Dodgers have a great TV market with Japan to televise a lot of their games overseas. That's also why a lot of these players gravitate to the Dodgers and so forth. I think with that, the Yankee lore of being in the pinstripe. Look, Garrett Cole was a West Coast player. He grew up in the West Coast. He came to the Yankees. CC Sabathia wasn't a Yankee. He grew up in Cleveland. He loves the Yankees. It could go both ways. I think money talks. Everything else walks. It's intriguing to see how Austin Wells. I'm glad you mentioned Austin Wells. It being his second year showed promise. Austin Wells is going to probably have a good upgrade in his season. I know that someone say they might have some sophomore slumps and so forth. I think Austin Wells is going to know how to get his body ready to be a catcher for more than 162 games now, because he got into the postseason. He's going to be mentally and physically ready to get his body to play more than 162 games. And I think that's going to help the New York Yankees. It's going to help Austin Wells to have a bigger, stronger year for him. And now he's going to be the number one catcher. So it's going to, no Trevino as a safety net. So I think he's going to have a good year. I think they're putting a lot of stock. That's why Ben Rice might be a big part, because he can also catch. He can catch, he can play first base. I think that's another one. That's why I'm big on him. Let me get to Scarlet Blue. Yeah, championship experience means what? Nothing. I just mentioned it, Scarlet, when championship experience does mean, because us as fans, we get disappointed because they didn't win it. We get disappointed because they didn't complete the mission. They didn't finish their story, but it got them prepared. It got them mentally and prepared and physically to what's going to happen, what they need to do to go over that top. And I'm going to bring it to a little wrestling analogy. Cody Rhodes lost that title to Roman Reigns. He waited a whole year getting over the crowd, getting going, getting mentally ready, getting prepared, and then he finally won it. I know it's scripted before you say, oh, wrestling is scripted, but you could kind of put that as a baseball terminology. Kind of, I'm not saying baseball scripted, but that kind of run. You have to hit 5 times to get to winning. And some of these players, they have to go to an off season of being trolled like the Yankees, and that experience of being trolled and not failing, not wanting to fail. How many times Michael Jordan, he's successful because he failed so many times. You read his quotes, his inspirational quote. Your boy Cody Bryant, read his quote. He had to fail in order to win. You have to take a step back. So championship experience means a lot. Getting there and winning it, even losing it, means a lot, because it makes you deal with the winnings, the good stuff and the bad, the highs and lows of that. So I disagree on that. Yankees are blungers. They're like that in the 5th inning of the World Series. The 5th inning of the World Series is going to kill the Yankees forever. The matter of fact, that's going to go down in history forever. But you know how you go out there? You go the next year and you win it. You learn from your mistakes. I'm pretty sure you have done many mistakes that you learn from that you don't do again. Plenty. Mixing vodka with rum. I'm going to put that there. You learn from a lot of mistakes. You learn from a lot of your mistakes. So, and hopefully the Yankees can learn from that. That's what we're hoping for. So keep the questions going. I understand. I understood where you were coming from, Scarlet Blue. Thank you for writing in the chat. We appreciate you. Definitely. We appreciate everyone, Aiden, Austin. Give me about another 10 minutes. Yeah, you guys got another 10 minutes here. Keep the question going, and then we'll wrap it up here and be right before to get the kickoff going on. If you're watching the Eagles game in NFL, so we just wanted to talk a little baseball here. Let me ask this question: do you think are we going into a deep, what I mean a deep work stoppage in Major League Baseball? I think we are. I hate to say it. I think we're gonna get locked out or strike, whatever the case. There's gonna be a work stoppage in 2025, 26, because I think a lot of teams are gonna get upset what the Dodgers are doing. Again, if you were listening to me for the first time or didn't hear me earlier, you could rewind it. I came on and said that I think I'm not getting mad with the Dodgers spending the money and signing, here Tanner Scott, getting Roki Sasaki, doing what they're doing there. Personally, I'm not going to get mad with the Dodgers because if the shoe was on the other side, of course, I know everybody hates when they say that. If George was alive, he'd be doing the same thing, which is true. The Yankees done it themselves. They signed the best players. They signed everyone who they can, traded for everyone in the organization, and the Yankees and the baseball still survive. But I think this time around, I think the owners don't want to spend. They don't want to get to their first ever $1 billion baseball player, which is going to probably happen in our lifetime. But I think some of the owners are already plucking their buttholes, not wanting to make a player their first $1 billion player. And there is going to be a team. There's going to be a player. Maybe he'll be a Texas Ranger. Maybe he'll be, who knows, maybe our Yankees, or I don't know if the Dodgers or even the Toronto Blue Jays, because they're going to eventually have to sign someone big. But I think Major League Baseball owners don't want that. And I think that's where the lockout might happen. I hate to say it. I don't want this sport to be a salary cap sport because I think, to me, I find it. That's why one thing that I'm disconnected a little bit with football is the salary cap. I think, to me, I know football is popular because of gambling and all that good stuff. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But I hate the salary cap. But when you have teams that are playing the way they're playing and spending the way they're spending, you got to get mad at the owners. No one told the Oakland Athletics to take their millions and pocket it and put it in their pocket for many years, and now they're signed Severino. If you're a Cincinnati Red owner, you didn't sign players. You want to cry sister of the poverty. You're not spending. Philadelphia teams spend. Boston spend, although they've been cutting back a little bit, being a little bit physically responsible. Arizona, they went and got some good players. The Dodgers, the Rangers, so what's the deal with the Cubs and the White Sox? That's supposed to be Chicago is supposed to be the second city. They're supposed to have money. Why they're not spending? You got to talk about your owners, the owners of the Major League ball players of these clubs. They're not spending. They're not investing. The Tampa Bay Rays is a joke. They're a joke. I live in Tampa. I live in Orlando. Tampa's an hour and a half, 2 hours from me. And they don't spend. What makes you think I'm going to want to spend and become a Tampa Ray fan and buy season tickets, even if I get a short 25 game pack for when the Yankees come to town? No, because that team don't spend, they don't market them, they don't even tell me that they even play here. Why would I invest in them? Because the ownership don't want to invest. If you're a Miami Marlin fan, they try to bring in Jeter, they try to change the culture, the narrative. But then why did Jeter not stay with the organization? Because the owner didn't want to spend. And Jeter wants to win. And you got to spend a little money to get in the postseason and win. Despite the fact that I think Jeter as an executive and Manning as a manager, they had success getting into postseason with that putrid roster that they had and so forth, and developing and waiting. But still, they didn't spend. You have to spend. I was really shocked that the Phillies didn't come out of the National League last year. Yeah, and that's why baseball, Tony. That's why baseball. When I said it in the top of the hour, and I'll say it again, my old timers, old heads, when we were playing, and tell us baseball, like when we used to see a team that was big, stronger, taller, bigger, and when I played, don't be scared. The ball is round. La pelota redonda. The ball is round. Anything can happen. The ball is nice and round. You can win. All you gotta do is go play your game. Hit, put the bat on ball, play defense, pitch. You could beat anyone. Yes, if you have better talent, you're stronger. Of course, you're gonna have a better advantage. But if you play everything right, they can hit the ball hard. They could hit the ball 101 miles an hour on a line drive. If you stick your glove and you catch it, it's an out. even if he hits it 101 miles, or even if you hit the line drive 75 miles and they don't catch it, they don't put a glove on it, and it hits in between first and second, it's still a hit. My point is, it doesn't matter how. And that's why the Dodgers is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. The Yankees are not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed when it comes to baseball. It's a sport. It's again. I could go back to, you could hit 109-mile-per-hour line drive right to the shortstop in his glove. It's not. And you could hit a 75-mile-per-hour line drive in between the hole, and it's a single. Or if it keeps rolling down all the way to the wall, it turns into a double. If you're fast enough, a triple. So it's the funny things in baseball. It's the funniest thing that can happen. Baseball is a tricky, funny game. It's unpredictable. That's, I think, why we love it. That's why we love it, and it's still the national pastime because it's so unpredictable. You still need 26-man roster. You still need 9 guys on the field. You still got a 3-ball. You have a 4 walk, 3 strikes, 27 outs, 3 outs. 9 innings. Still the same for everyone. It's just how you execute in between them, and your depth, and how you put together, and how physically and mentally you're prepared. So that's why everyone wants to give the trophy to the Dodgers already. Wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies. We're talking about the Phillies, Tony. Wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies come out in the National League, or even the Arizona Diamondbacks. You're telling me with that pitching staff, they get hot and they shut down? Listen, we've seen one of the most different pitching staff that came out of nowhere and just shut people down. You're telling me in 1996, when you're going up against a Maddox, Glavine, Smokes, against Cone, Jimmy Key, and a young Andy Pettitte, that we were going to win the World Series? No. David Cone outpitched some of the, and David Cone's not even a Hall of Famer. Outpitched 3 out of the 4 Hall of Famers on the Atlanta Braves pitching staff. Anything can happen, fellas. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Orlando Duque Hernandez, who's just a mediocre pitcher during the regular season, one of the best postseason pitchers in modern day baseball history. Look at his numbers. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. That's why I don't go crazy. Earl Hershiser, he went on an incredible 88 run, 1988, and he was okay pitcher, but he just had an uber outstanding 88 postseason run for the Dodgers. This week in Baseball Hall of Fame announcement, besides Ichiro, CC, who's getting in? I think Billy Wagner might get in. Billy Wagner might be a name that might be out there. I think he's eligible. Billy Wagner. And by the way, we have to mention about Hall of Famer. Rest in peace to Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball. Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. Absolutely, rest in peace. That's my era of baseball in the 80s, baby. So I grew up in the Canseco Bonds era. I mean, Don Arthur Mattingly. I'm a big Don Mattingly fan. I had the privilege of being in 1988. I must have went through about 40 home games for the Yankees in the Bronx. Back then, the Bronx was empty. 1988, regardless, that wasn't empty. You had a good seat in Yankee Stadium in 88. They were cheap in the bleachers. You bring your own food. You go there. Your uncle got tickets. We would go. And I got to see that. To me, that team they didn't win. They were in second place. To me, that's one of my favorite teams. The 1980 Yankees, John Candelaria pitching, Scott Sanderson. And they weren't good, but to me, that's one of my favorite baseball eras. What's up, Christopher? Christopher, what's going on? Christopher Jackson, Denver. Salute. Can't wait. Yes, you're gonna join us, right? You got the link. Don't forget to get the link so you can watch it with us. You'll be able to watch it, not just hear us. You'll be able to watch and see it on your device. So you could even put it on your big screen TV there on a playback app. You could get it on, or playback is anywhere. You could get that and put it on any on the Fire Stick, on the Roku device, playback, or on your computer tablet, and you actually can see the wrestling with us. So yes, I can't wait to see you tonight there as well. Let's go. My favorite player of all time, Ricky Henderson. I mean, come on. Ricky Henderson was the leadoff hitter for the New York Yankees in the 80s, and they weren't good. It was Ricky Henderson, Willie Randolph, Don Mattingly, Jack Clark, Dave Winfield. I mean, I can remember that lineup. I mean, they were offensively, they were great, but just Ricky Henderson, you get on first base, you were waiting for him to steal second base, and he ended up on third, and then you got Mattingly getting an RBI, the Yankees up 1-0. I mean, I remember all those things. And you had Phil Rizzuto. Holy cow! I mean, my goodness, yeah, good old days. They weren't great, but they were good old. My favorite baseball teams are the Rockies and the Brewers. There's nothing wrong with that, Christopher. Nothing wrong with that. With the Brewers going a little bit of a rebuild there. No David Stearns. They're getting rebuild here. They made the postseason last year. Of course, now you You're missing your closer now. Williams, who's going to step up as your closer? That's a big question mark for the Brewers. That National League Central, even with the subtractions for the Brewers, they got to be one of the favorites to come out of that division. I mean, everyone. St. Louis, everyone runs to St. Louis, and St. Louis is one of those heckle and jive teams. The Cubs, but the Brewers got to be there when wouldn't you? Last thing you know, Cincinnati Reds with Terry Francona, got to be careful with that one. He injects just an energy and another level of baseball. He gets the best out of nothing for Terry Francona, hell of a manager. So I'm gonna be honest with you, Christopher. I think I'm gonna go with Cincinnati right now, the darling of the division, followed by the Brewers. But do I see one at the end of the day, Brewers leading that division? Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Although the Rockies, I think they're going to continue to struggle. I think the Rockies are going to continue to struggle, unfortunately. I don't see anything so rag home about-ish with them. Their farm system is not ranked in Major League Baseball so high. I don't know what's going on. I think it's going to come to the fact when in about 10 more years, we're going to be questioning baseball in Colorado. I hate to say that because I know they had a World Series appearance, and but with the way that the Dodgers, Giants, the Diamondbacks are ruling that division, it's gonna be tough for Colorado. Although anything can happen. Again, it's baseball; anything can happen. But they're developing, and their team doesn't seem so strong. Don't forget the Braves in the National League. The Braves. The Braves are going to be a tough one. Absolutely. I hope that Bonds gets in the Hall of Fame. This guy was amazing before the steroids. At the end of the day, steroids is not going to make you see the ball better, hit it. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. You still got to put bat to ball. You still got to have some type of ability, some type of talent to play baseball. You got to be able to, have all these intangibles. The only thing that helped steroids, I think, might have helped was just hit the ball a little with more power and be able to probably recover his body quicker from anyone else. If that's what steroid brings, that mass. I think Barry Bonds before the steroids was a Hall of Famer in Pittsburgh, and he should have gotten in. He should have gotten in, and so is Roger Clemens. I think Roger Clemens belongs in the Hall of Fame as well. He's just one of those pitchers who just was in the 80s to the 90s, was just one of those guys who could pitch. Reinvented himself, not with just one, but with 4 different organizations. With the Yankees, the Astros, the Blue Jays, and the Red Sox. So just think of the stuff that Clemens did. And Barry Bonds, I mean, my goodness, this guy injected must-watch TV when he even if regardless, the commissioner had no issues, no problem turning his face the other side, looking the other way when the TV ratings they were breaking in on ESPN every time Barry Bonds went up to bat to try to hit a home run or break a record. They didn't have any issues reaping the benefit of the ratings. So you have to, you know what? You can't come on and want to be now a social warrior police that the steroids, we can't let you in this sacred Hall of Fame. And the same thing with Pete Rose. I hate the fact that he passed away, and now they're going to want to he belongs. The guy should have went in even last year in his deathbed. He should have, they should have brought in Pete Rose, cut the crap. Right now, baseball's fueled by gambling. Baseball, not by gambling, but there's sponsors. NBA has sponsors with gambling. NFL, with the draft, all stuff. I understand that was back then at that time, but now they had a mend fences. They should have put Pete Rose while he was alive in the Hall of Fame. That's just my take. The Rockies are a joke, even though the White Sox are the biggest joke, not just in baseball but in all sports. Do you think they break the 1962 Mets record for the most loss? It could happen. That could be on the table with the way the Dodgers, the Padres, the Diamondbacks are in that division. That's going to be a lot of games that the Rockies are going to have, and even the Giants. That's going to be a lot of games that they're going to lose. That could be on the table. Do you like Carlos Estevez? Yeah, he's not a bad player. Aiden. He's not a bad player. Does he fit the Yankees? My point is, does he fit the Yankees? What crazy year? Bond, Sosa, McGuire hitting the home runs. The Major League makes so much. They made so much money. They benefited, and then 5 years later, they act. These guys are toxic. We can't talk about them. We don't like them. So it's hypocritical. it's hypocritical on that. But guys, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to end it here in an hour and a half. It was great. We're going to continue to talk. Hopefully, I have Chris the Flash or maybe Austin would join me and talk some more baseball. Definitely would love that conversation. In the near future, have a baseball talk. I wanna. Oh, wait a minute. I was talking about the 2004 White Sox breaking the record for the most losses in the season in my previous comment. Yeah, I think I could see that. What hope does the White Sox have that they're going to win a lot of games either? They got rid of Dylan Cease. They made all these deals. They made all this. They got worse. But again, baseball is funny. Anything the White Sox could be at 500. Wouldn't surprise me that either. So my point is, anything can happen in the world of baseball. Of course, when you have a terrible talent, you're expecting to be not a good team. It happens. Vegas don't lie. Vegas normally wins 90% of the time or 75% of the time. But anything could happen. Never say never. But with that said, I'm going to say good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching along. Talking some baseball. I love the comments. I love the question. I love you guys kept it going. It gives me some talk about two-way talk. That's what I always want. And we're going to do more. You know what? This tells me you guys want to talk more baseball with me. We're going to do more baseball. Hopefully I get Chris the Flash to join on his day off when we could collaborate and talk baseball together with you guys, or Austin when he's off as well. Get on it and we have a conversation with some baseball all around. Hopefully there's some news. If anything breaks where our local team, Yankee or Mets or big Dodger stuff, we'll come back on and we'll talk about it. I like to wait when there's a lot to talk about. See how we had a lot of talk, a lot of conversation, a lot of substance, not just every other day or every 2 hours come up with a video just to clickbait. I kind of want to give you something where some substance, where we can have that conversation, that dialect. Again, nothing wrong with those that do it. God bless you guys. You guys make your thing, make your money, get your audience invested and keep. But I know we have fun when we do our talks with baseball and other stuff. That's why I'm confident to come whenever I can, whenever there's substance. So with that said, I want to thank everyone. You guys were awesome. May the sports be with you. May the Yankees, may baseball be with you. It's only 20 days for spring training. Hopefully we'll be back on and talk a little more. Don't forget, like and subscribe this video. Please hit the like and subscribe. Subscribe to this video. Also, on the playback, you have to go to playback, Aiden. Check us out on playback, because in the near future, spring training game, instead of YouTube, we're probably going to do playback where you're going to see the game and hear it, instead of just me calling the game and seeing a cartoon video or the MLB 2K batter in the box. You're going to see it. You're going to see the home run by Judge. You're going to see the strikeouts by Cole. You're going to see the Yankees win. The Yankees win. So with that said, guys, have a great afternoon. Talk to you then.